initiative, which is Sunday series discussion on topics related to the HR domain. Today's topic is going to be on employer branding, a very prevalent topic in the HR domain, and I am going to be facilitating the session on employer branding. Yeah, so these are the points that I would be majorly covering in the session. So I'll start with what is the definition of employer branding, how why employer branding is critical in the current or the modern times, who has the responsibility to maintain an employer's brand, whether it's the HR professionals or the non-HR professionals. So that point of view. Fourth, I'll be covering what are the things or what are the aspects that enhance an employee's brand value. And the last point that I'll be mentioning is what is the scope in future. So before I begin my presentation, I have a small picture to show to all of you. So I have a question to ask to all of you. How many of you are aware of all these brands? Can you we have like a quick show of hands, or just unmute yourself? How many of you know all these brands?
Most of
Yes,
you know.
pretty much of them.
Okay. Is there any brand which you're not aware of?
Uh,
No.
just do it.
Just do it and tag here.
Okay, so Just Do It is Nike, and
Okay.
Tagware is a manufacturing organization. It manufactures watches and eyewear. So Shah Rukh Khan is the brand ambassador. So my next question to you is, if suppose you get a offer, in assuming that you've got an offer in HR in either of these companies, how many of you would immediately say a yes?
Definitely yes. For Deloitte.
Okay, Deloitte. Sangeeta, Varsha, Ujjwal, Shravani,
Definitely yes for Microsoft.
Yes.
Microsoft. Okay,
For Editas and
All of
Deloitte
them.
or
Like
EY, anything is fine.
anything.
all of them,
Okay,
yeah.
Even for
right.
both for that matter, since it's a startup and has a very good history. The person is from ISB Hyderabad. So it's good to go over there
Okay,
also.
great. Now my follow-up question. You mentioned that if you, most from what I understand, that if you get preferably opportunity in Deloitte, maybe Google, EY, any of the brands, preferably broad, so you would join. So what is the reason why you want to join these organizations? Any one particular reason?
So because they're well known for their facilities they provide, for their stability in the market,
Okay,
for the widespread, multi-location presence.
okay.
First
Varsha?
would be okay.
Sushmita, go ahead.
Okay, so first would be like like in the beginning as joining as a management trainee or like any other position you would be coming. So with these companies, they will give you a picture grip for your career, and definitely you will have a growth in a productive sense. What I feel over you.
Okay, yeah, Varsha, you were saying something.
See, I can vouch for 2, 3 because I have an experience because my friends and families have been working in these brands, so I know what happens inside, especially how well they are taken care of. So when you understand what perks and facilities employees get, then yeah, I am good to go ahead with 3, 4 brands. Plus, if I leave 1 or 2 brands out from the sheet, I think these are already established, well-known, and big brands. So the processes and everything is taken care of. So once the organization is set, I think now it's easy for employees to set in with them.
Okay. Ujjwal and Shravani, Tanya, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, actually, mine is like the facilities they are what they are providing. Yeah, and apart from that, the exposure what we will get, because these are the companies where the actual work is happening. How and as we can talk about the HR perspective, so these are the one who is managing the huge number of the employees. So if we will go into this, we will get an opportunity to understand how well they are coordinating the 500 or 600 employees. So that is
These
the
all
main
are good
reason.
brands. That's what I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
So correct. So from what I get it, then if you all get a reason to join these organizations, the prime reason for joining these organizations which I've mentioned here is brand or the employer's brand. So now let's talk about how we define an employer's brand. So when we talk about the terminology employer branding, it mainly refers to the image or the reputation of an organization or a firm's externally. When I say externally, the reputation or the image of what an employer has outside the market means how the outside world perceives an image of a brand or how it perceives the reputation is or is defined as an employer branding. Employer branding also, includes managing and influencing reputation. Or what I mean to say is the way of managing and influencing an organization's reputation. When we talk about employer branding, there are a lot of stakeholders who actually contribute to build an employer's brand. But in my humble opinion, the two key stakeholders who are very critical in building an employer's brand are the job seekers and the employees who are working within the organization. When we talk about employer branding, so employer branding has been a concept in human resource management which has been existing around mid 90s. However, it was not given so much emphasis on, but now and since I would say in the recent past, when I say the recent past, almost it's been 2 3 years, especially after COVID-19 pandemic took place, employer branding is being given a lot of emphasis on. So yeah, now we come to the point of why employer branding is critical in the modern times or why it's important. So as per LinkedIn, if as you can see some of the statistics, 75% of the candidates research or they look about a firm's reputation or an employer brand before applying for a job. As Vivek sir pointed out in our last session, that today's market is more a candidate centric market where the candidate has a lot of uh, choice in deciding which organization he or she would like to join, though employers also have that choice because talent is available in abundance, but also uh, there's a flip side to it that the potential job seekers, they also have a choice. 83% of the employers say that employer brand plays a significant role in their ability to hire talent. Talent here means the quality talent. Then it says 69% of the candidates would prefer to join a job in a firm that has a repute. Now, criticality in the modern times continued. Uh, these days, referral is very common as far as hiring procedures in organizations are concerned. So as per Glassdoor, 50% of the employees within an organization would refer their employer to their near and dear ones, and 23% of the workforce who happen to fall in the category of 18 to 34 years, they are now willing to take a pay cut for a new opportunity in an organization just on the basis of the brand value that an organization holds. For example, let's say most of you mentioned that Deloitte and EY or maybe TCS would, if you get an opportunity in some of the organizations that I've mentioned in the that I mentioned in the previous slide, so you will more than happily work for these organizations even though it's a pay cut. So that Deloitte or EY or TCS or Google, it has that brand value, so you are relatively safe that okay, you are taking a pay cut, but there is a trade off. At least you are getting that brand value, you're getting that brand to work for. Then it also says 40% of the candidates are ready to open a new position without any additional play, just as a result of a company's brand image or the reputation they hold in the market. So these statistics are taken from Glassdoor. Now, a very important aspect: responsibility of maintaining an employer brand. So this has been a massive debate as to who are primarily responsible of maintaining an employer's brand, whether it's HR professionals, whether employer branding is just about it's just about the duty of HRs to maintain. But however, if you see from this image, majorly it's targeting that, it's showing or it's indicating that HR professionals are primarily responsible. However, though HR professionals, when we say HR professionals, the first people who come to our mind are recruiters. Though recruiters are, responsible, but employer branding is something that just does not end, you know, uh, when the recruiting takes place. It is actually beyond recruiting. When an employee or a potential employee is onboarded, so it's a continuous process. So let's say, if I am working as a recruiter for Deloitte, so right from the time I uh, contact the candidate till the time he or she is onboarded, that continuous engagement, that continuous process, that is that is a responsibility on at my end, because that will help build my employer, in this case Deloitte's employer brand. However, you know there are other departments who also contribute to building an employer's brand. So let's say when the employee has entered, the people he see, his teammates, his managers, in his interaction with people from other departments in general, and other aspects as well. So to cut the long story short, when we talk about who's responsible to maintain the employer's brand, I would say it's not just HR professionals. Uh, you know, uh, it's a combined effort of people from other departments as well. Because as they say, "Boond boond se hi sagar bharta hai." So all of the people, all of the employees, rather, they all are responsible to maintain an employer's brand at every stage. Yeah, so this is an image that shows about employer branding as to the people who are responsible, potential employees, customers. When we say, they are external customers, existing and potential. So this picture illustrates that not HR professionals are not uh, solely responsible for contributing to maintain an employer's image or a brand value. It's just more than that. Now we come to what are the things or aspects that enhances an employer brand. As you can see, you can see from this image, that happy candidates are equivalent to strong employer brand. That is absolutely correct, because recruiters are the first point of contacts for any candidates. So yeah, that's definitely there, but there is beyond this as well. So as you can see, proposition, experience, engagement, communication, reputation, corporate identity, a lot of things. So when there are these things are there, which enhances an employer's brand value. And if you can see some of the things which are good, and good working environment, high number of open jobs, equal opportunity policy. Now diversity is also coming up. So there is so much focus on diversity hiring. So I feel that in the future, diversity would be that X factor that can definitely help build an employer's brand value. You can see career opportunities, secondment, work life balance, training and development plans. The list is endless. I also talked about employer value proposition. So this is what an employer value proposition is, which what an employer has to offer, and how the aspects that has been mentioned in this image can certainly contribute to build an employer's brand. So these aspects include internal communication, recognition, rewards, personal growth, job security to an employee. Uh, what are the values and the belief systems that an organization holds, and how do they match with the values and belief systems of an employee? So these are some of the aspects that definitely play a huge role in building an employer's value proposition. But I would say, besides this, the most important is talent. And when I say talent, it means quality talent along with diversity. Because when we have quality hire, or I would say the right people in an organization, then, and that too with the diverse perspectives and diverse thoughts, then an organization would definitely reach the objectives or the goals that it has set for themselves. And eventually this will also help an organization build its repute in the market, because also it's I think I read in a McKinsey report that diversity does play an important role in contributing to an employer's brand, because when you have diverse perspectives, you have diverse thoughts, then decision making is better, and lots of other things. So yeah, while rest of the things are important, but I feel hiring quality and diverse talent is also one of the very critical factors for us for building an employer's brand. Yeah, now I come to future scope. So as you can see from this image, that before the 2020, the year of the pandemic, employer branding became something very strategic in nature. So as you can see from this image, this is from Recruiter Flow. Employer branding is not just another thing. It is it has become more strategic and more important in nature. So now companies have actually started breaking down their employer branding objectives. They have actually started having employer branding objectives. So as you can see, one of their objectives is secure long-term recruitment needs, uh, build their brand at a global level, how they can differentiate themselves from the competitors, and not only just building the brand at a global level or a national level, but also at a local level. So as you can see the statistics, you can see the numbers game. And also I would like to point out that as far as the future scope is concerned, now employer branding will just not be restricted to hiring. It will actually take a holistic shape. So the director, Jennifer Johnston, who's the global director employer branding of the company Salesforce, so she says that employer branding would take a holistic perspective, right from employee engagement internally, but also from engagement to the candidates. So it's going to be like a complete process, not just when the hiring process takes place, or when when the employee has entered the organization. And when we talk about talent acquisition, so Shonda Zilich, who works for General Electric, she said that employer branding is going to be the key or the center of the talent acquisition function in the times to come. Yeah, so as I mentioned that diversity, diversity is such a buzzword in the recent times, where especially the multinational corporations, they talk so much about diversity hiring, diversity as the key to success, to build their respective employer brand. So I feel diversity is going to be a very critical, or I would say rather it's going to be the X factor that would shape up building an employer's brand. But what happens is we the diversity, the interpretation of the term diversity has to be very crystal clear, because what happens is when we talk about diversity, we only think about age, gender, religion, ethnicity. These are the things that is being majorly thought upon when we talk about diversity. But diversity is not just restricted to these things. You have diversity of thought, you have diversity of education, you have diversity in terms of education background, you have diversity in terms of location, diversity in terms of experience. So there are so many things that diversity can be interpreted upon. So I feel diversity is going to be the X factor, and you can see from this image that how the employer branding future looks like. So yeah, that's all from my end, and thank you for coming.
Lovely presentation, Chaitanya.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Yeah, it was a
I
good
can see a
Yes, good
presentation.
better
presentation.
structure and a well presented case.
Thank you, sir.
Spoken
Yeah,
to all,
Varsha.
yes, Varsha.
First of all, well done. The
Thank you.
presentation was very good and the presenter was very confident and
Thank you.
very new things came up. So I just want to understand that when you talk about employer branding, how are the company or for that matter employees measuring employee branding these days? How do you measure it?
See, from what I understand, I think employee engagement, which we talked about in the last session, I think that is the major parameter from what I observe. I have no idea as to how they measure, but again, from my personal observations, I would say that uh, employee engagement at every stage, these are the things that organizations are looking for, and engagement at the right point of time. So let's say, just to give you an example, uh, you know uh, the COVID pandemic which happened last year, many layoffs took place. Now, if I talk about Tata as an example, the Tata Group, especially its brand, TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, they did not, laid off a single employee. So I would say,
Even Wipro, we can add, they have not laid off any employees.
so that is one way of looking at how of measuring an employer brand. That when the crisis time came, how did the employer responded to that situation? Another example that comes to my mind recently, where Atif Bhai posted about this company from based out of Dubai, which is Aries Group of companies, where their head, Mr. Sohan Roy, decided to give salaries to the wives of the employers. So what does that demonstrate? That demonstrates that employer branding is just not about doing big promises. It is actually when your employees are in need, you just stand up for them. So that's how I would like to put it. The right engagement at the right point of time. That is what I can say from my side.
The engagement only caters to the existing employees, right?
Yeah.
Just to quote an example here, if you've read in the news that Mr. Tata had just recently
Recently
visited
was
one of his employees in Pune who was ill
Yeah, yeah.
for some time, right?
time, right?
And
And
my voice
my
is
voice
echoing.
is echo.
Am I audible
Am
to
I
you?
on?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So he recently visited to, I mean, to one of his employee who was not well for quite some time. He went there, he spent time, and he had lunch there. Such a big man and so down to earth. And this is not the first case that has come up wherein he's gone out of the way to help his employees. The attack was a very big example where the employees were taken care of.
Absolutely.
So small activities, be it turnaround time of hiring people or doing the F&F early, or handling the employees well while meeting them on campuses or other activities, or when they are coming just for the sake of anything in the office, and the culture is built in a way. So when we talk about employer branding, we're talking about word of mouth as a very big tool.
Yeah.
चलते फिरते आदमी, they are talking about it, right? Like example, you talk about movies, yeah, go and see that movie, you have to see, or don't
Right.
see that movie, it's a waste of money, right? So these are small things, and the list is long. So if you Google or if you read, LinkedIn is one of them, coming up in a very big way, where employee branding is playing a very major role in it,
Absolutely.
right, Vivek? So
Exactly. I mean, like Varsha added, there could be multiple metrics. It is not just about your existing employees. How much time you are taking to close your recruitment process could be one. What is your attrition ratio? How many of them are rejecting your offers? There could be so many metrics. And like Varsha brought this up about Tata. So maybe I have shared with you guys earlier also, but again, I'll not miss this opportunity to share. What Mr. Ratan Tata did is a culture in that organization, and I have faced this. I had met with an accident coming back from office. Those were the days when I was bachelor and I was alone in Delhi. Everything was taken care by the organization, not just the money part, but there were rosters made. I was 12 days in coma, 24 hours hospital. There has to be one employee at least present, and there was a roster created, and a cash of 20,000 was given to each employee to be there in the hospital in case of any emergency. And coordination, the head of the department was in US. He sanctioned it from there. So though my parents were, they came, they were kind of guests. They were in guest house. A 24 by 7 cab was given to them. They just have to see me. Rest everything was taken care by organization. And that is the culture that Tata's has. I remember the days, Tata Infotech as a unit was doing very bad, very bad. We actually had very less revenue and we were wondering whether salaries will come in time or not. And I don't exactly remember which month it was. It was some October or September because it was Diwali. Diwali was on 25th or 24th something. 22nd afternoon, salary was credited to our account. And we were wondering how. Internal company transfer, whatever, employee need not bother about it. And that is the culture and that is the brand. And which is why, people aspire to work with TCS or Tatas or something because that's a brand. And I'm sure every organization has those. And not just for employees, I mean, the way they deal with you, even if you're going for an interview, the way you are, it reflects on your brand. So,
Yeah, so sir,
those,
sorry, sir, to cut you
yeah,
short. So from what I understand, is to answer Varsha's question on how we can measure it. I would say it all has it has a trickle down effect. It all starts from the top. So as sir mentioned that in Tata's, it all starts from the leadership. And also, I would say besides leadership, the word intent is something that comes to my mind.
correct.
So I would say that the when the leadership starts building that culture, or starts laying emphasis on these things, then obviously it will have a impact on the organization as a whole. Now, like TCS mentioned, I can like also talk about Deloitte. So Deloitte as a brand, their CSR policy is amazing. And I happened to, when I was in Dublin doing my masters, I had the privilege of visiting Deloitte Ireland as part of my master's program. So uh, Deloitte Ireland, they really value diversity to the core. So what they did was they uh, you know launched a initiative called Photo Voice. So, and this was done in collaboration with University College Dublin, which was like one of the top universities in Ireland after Trinity. So what they did was like because they are so many employees at Deloitte Ireland from different nationalities. So what they essentially did was they asked their employees to click photographs, uh, which which tries to reflect diversity in some way. So at the moment, I can recall that. So there is one road and there are a couple of vehicles. So there is a tram, there is a scooter, there is a car. So someone clicked that picture, and so what that showed was, or what that demonstrated was, that these vehicles are different. One is a tram, one is a bus, one is a car, but they are essentially moving in the same direction. So the belief system at Deloitte Ireland is that we may be different, but at the end of the day, we are moving in a common direction. We are moving towards the common goal. Then you had a picture where I can recall. So there was a bouquet which consisted of different flowers. So which mentioned that different flowers in a bouquet, they look beautiful together. So that is what Deloitte also stands for. Then there was an image I remembered, a home away from home. And there was an image where an employee clicked about how within uh, a certain period of time, a plant or a tree has grown. So that represents consistency. So these are some of the initiatives that this Photo Voice initiative, particularly with Deloitte Island, was something that was quite interesting. And then also they have their Impact Day as a CSR initiative across the globe, where they give their they give an opportunity or a chance to employees purely on voluntary basis to work for an NGO, do some projects, so that they are able to contribute to the society as well. And recently I read that they are about to launch some world class initiative related to education. So yeah, these are like CSR initiatives. Like they can also become like something that can attract potential employees to work for them. I remember Microsoft, when I had also done a project with Microsoft wherein
Chaitanya, your voice is not audible now.
So I was saying that
Yeah.
I had a chance to visit Microsoft Ireland as well. So what they did was they focused so much on employee well-being that they, within the office premises, had set up you know a proper gym and anything which the employees wanted. So it was actually more like a township rather than the office premises. So these are the things that definitely contributes to building an employer's brand. Yeah. So these are my thoughts.
If I just may add to the gym part, you know, companies, organization, because they have to, just for the superficial level, they have to showcase wherein they are providing so many facilities to employees, and for the marketing level to attract talent. Companies will do all these things, but are they actually working as their brand? Are they actually creating that awareness is what matters. Making a gym in the organization is not difficult, but actually are the employees getting time to use that gym, and are they being healthy using it? What matters? So there are a lot of brands that I can quote right now which are doing on an artificial level some amazing work, but it's not benefiting employees at all. So unless there is a human centric approach, unless there is a human touch to it, so just by picking up the phone and asking Chaitanya, you were not there in the class, are you, everything all right? This plays such a big role than actually giving you a discount coupon and saying go party with your friends,
Yeah.
right?
True. True.
So when you make a visit to any organization for just a day or for a week or for half an hour, these things are bound to attract you because that's what they're doing. They want outsiders to come see and then start working with us. And of course the branding is there, they already set up. But the actual feedback, the actual thing is when the employee who is working or who has already left the organization talks about it. There are people who still says company to wo thi, ya fir I still remember when I was being given that award. So are you giving them that lifetime experiences is what actually employee branding is. So you don't have to spend tons and money. If your approach and your intent is correct, it's taken care of. Maybe not in the shorter run, but in the longer run, is what I felt when I was working with ABG. They actually haven't done a lot of marketing about it, but the employees, do that for them.
So,
Sorry,
so
I
True,
what I
talked a
true.
lot.
understand, it will be like more like organic thing where it will automatically grow.
Right.
Otherwise, there are a lot of surveys that keeps happening every year, no?
And my question is, if
Yeah.
we look at the pharma sector, the moment we look at the pharma sector, we remember Dr. Reddy's.
Hmm.
Hmm.
But during this COVID, actually, Dr. Reddy's is nowhere. Otherwise, it was the biggest industry in pharma. Bharat Biotech, which actually I know, is a very normal office, nominal salaries, suddenly all over the world, that name. So being a brand also, Dr. Reddy's couldn't sustain that thing, or I mean, now the will the brand come down now because of this? Will this branding, have negative impact in the market is one. Secondly, Bharat Biotech never advertised itself, but then it is an equivalent bigger industry to Dr. Reddy's, and employees are given equivalent, opportunities. Let it be promotion, internal facilities, and all. But it was never branded. So I think branding is only happening when they are coming in newspaper for talent acquisition. That is one where the branding is happening. These people never came in paper. They have been always hiring from campus, training them and putting them on research. But Dr. Reddy's is always in the paper for their work, for the talent acquisition. That is how they have been doing branding. But when it comes to work, they have actually never showed up. So
See, there are organic and inorganic both. There are paid campaigns that are run, and I know an agency which does this. They will do all kind of survey. They will tell you, and then suddenly, employee of the year, employer of the year, best place to work. All these are paid service, but when we talk of brands like Tata's, or for that matter Wipro also, because the amount of CSR activities they do, and the employees are given privilege to work on those CSR activities, contributing to the society. It adds value to them, and that builds a brand for them. They don't need to spend money to build a brand. One, they are already a brand, and two, it's a very simple. Like someone could no, I went for an interview, I had an experience, I came back. Now whoever asks me will get the same feedback. And that you know that treatment that you got during that interview again creates a brand. So like I keep quoting this interview that I had with Capita Sims. It was an awesome experience, and that builds a brand. When people start talking about it. So it's not about an event that you do to build a brand. It's a sum result of all the activities and how you treat everyone. Like what she said. If you treat everyone human, it builds up your brand.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, though, there are companies people are scared to apply also. You never know. 3 4 months you'll not get a reply. Suddenly you'll get a. So all those things will keep happening.
Convergys was like this. Very bad brand.
It is still a bad brand. It is still a bad brand, no?
All toxic managers. Still a bad brand.
So that's how it is.
And also adding to point where Vivek sir told that some activities are also there. Like I remember my campus interview. There was this pharma company coming for HR. Company name is Zuventus. I
Hmm.
guess some of
Yeah,
you
yeah.
might have known.
There.
So over there, they were addressing their pre-placement talks. So we went in the company. We all were there. We all settled down. We came to know that they also do for employees engagement thing. Uh, you can say linkable to employee engagement and employee branding. They
Hmm.
had this sports day activities. They will conduct some annual day events wherein they will tell that 2 months post down the line we are going to conduct annual day for every employee, so you will have to dance, sing. Dancers, they will get in proper choreographers so that you don't dance like as if you don't want to dance, for proper dancing. And also award functions and sports day will also be there. One more interesting thing, when I came over there during the pre-placement talk was they are giving marriage card. Now, what is a marriage card? Like, marriage is something, an expense which everybody has to go through it. So they will provide you a company will give you when an employee wants like a point of time when a person settle downs. So they will pay you marriage card of rupees 85,000. So the Juventus employee will get that 85,000. So that would be another bonus thing for that. So that is another good thing which I liked about this company. And thereafter, I this thing, I guess, if this is being followed by each and every company, like as per their rules and regulations, so that would create like more awareness. Like yes, I'm coming into this company, so thereby my worth is coming over here. I'm contributing. I am willing to contribute something. So this is what I felt. And also at the same point of time, even in employee branding, sometimes even things there are more things to be added. There are more things which will be coming post pandemic, so hopefully things will settle down.
Even this pandemic has exposed a lot of organizations. See, work from home started. There were few organizations who were worried about how to monitor the employees, how to take attendance, how to monitor work, and all those things. And then there are organizations like Google, HSBC. Google paid $1,000 to all of their employees. Why? Set up a small office at home. Your home might not have those things. So, and I have couple of my neighbors and friends, HSBC, Google. They got sanctioned. Ki, boss, you do one thing. You buy a good computer table, buy a chair, buy a Wi-Fi, whatever you need. You need UPS. there is this $1,000 for you. Set up a small office, home office, and work from there. Don't bother about it. The chair has to be, so that
The,
you don't get, and that's the care for employees that you take.
Edelweiss also did that during the month of October and December when
Exactly. See, it,
they
it
did
Even
that.
was
Asian Paints, I remember Asian Paints also they did not lay off a single employee. I think they had given some incentives, I remember.
so see that those are again it's their top leadership and how much they care about their people. At one end, we are worried about whether people will be working from home or not. You are giving them a comfortable environment. You don't worry about anything. Feel comfortable at home, and that builds a brand, no? So when it comes to employer branding, I think it's a very wide subject. Whatever you do adds to your brand. You lay off people, it adds to your brand. You retain them, you give a pay cut, adds to your brand. And then this Aris thing was there. And so it's all about your brand. And I think there was some jeweler in Gujarat, no, a year or two back I heard, no. He gifted a car to all of us.
there's a new thing in the LinkedIn, no? Salary for wives also.
No,
That
that
kind.
Yeah,
was one that Atif shared, no?
yeah.
Yeah,
Dubai
it's
based.
happening everywhere now. He's going to pay salary to the housewives of his employees.
Good, no? Let us all go there.
Sir, it is all something like we can say. I mean, now if I look at my own industry, like bigger schools, they had funds, they paid the teachers. We smaller schools did not have funds beyond June. We couldn't pay teachers. So companies are also like that. Who had funds could pay the employees.
No,
Who didn't have
that's
funds, this thing.
That's what I said. No, yesterday when I got a call, I don't know whether it is happening in Bangalore across all schools or not,
No,
or
it is
whether there's
everywhere.
a
The parents, people are going.
whether it is a government thing or not. But they called me, sir, please come and collect your check. And I was shocked. What check? He said, sir, we have reduced the fees. We have cut down the fees by 30%. So please take your excess amount back.
This I got from my elder daughter, but not from my younger daughter.
You should give it now. You are also running a school, no?
Yeah. No, we
But
are all on strike.
but but you have
We,
not taken the fees.
none of us, we all decided we will not pay the fees.
So now coming back to our branding thing, so it's every single activity or even that we do.
So today, I think I will take the opportunity of taking one advice from everyone for my branding.
Please.
Everyone have to advise me what should I do to, especially starting with Chaitanya. What should I do?
Uh,
When
I, I will just go by what Varsha said. Just have the human approach and just be authentic. Is what I have to say.
that human approach is there, all candidates, clients are happy.
Yeah.
But
So I would say if human approach is there, just be authentic. When I say be authentic, deliver what you can and just be clear on what you can and just be clear on what you can't.
Sangeeta ji, I'll just add a small thing because I have been experiencing this over last 2 years. For people like us who are at a very early stage, it's more about your individual brand. Your organization will be known with you, and don't do anything special. Just be normal, but be visible there. You will build your network. You will build your community. Now today, at least, people have started knowing Skill Hub also. No, I have been posting up, writing a post every day like mad for last a year and a so. I don't think I have missed out a day.
then is there someone who will write a post for me also?
You will only write.
I'm not knowing what to write. The communication is low.
Just keep writing. Flow will come. People should know you. People should know what you believe in and what is the value that you're trying to create. And that will build your brand. If it is recruiting, you start talking of recruiting and do. We have got one requirement for Mumbai now. After this session, I have to speak to that lady, Bo- Boston Consulting Group. So they're looking for some HR intern. So someone, Manjula, connected me to them. So I just received a message from them. So I have to connect to them. And then slowly, more and more people will start knowing you, and that's what a brand is. No, now what they know you for, it is what your brand is, and which is why I've always advised each one of you not to write a post that I'm looking for a job, I had such a bad past, because that again creates a brand for you.
So, which brings me to one question.
Hmm?
On LinkedIn, as most of us are observing, there are a lot of posts where people have lost their jobs, and they're getting a lot of responses, a lot of engagement. Now, the question which I'm trying to ask is it just for just for the sake of doing it so that it reaches out maximum people, or it is just like something it's like अरे यार कुछ कर देते हैं शायद शायद इसी बहाने कुछ हो जाए. So, what are your thoughts on this?
It's pure simple desperation. I'll write something, then Chaitanya will like, and Varsha will like, and more people will know, and maybe someone will offer me a job. But believe me, as an employer, I do not want to reach out to those candidates who are desperate. I checked with Deepak also. Okay, how he came to know about this persistent thing. And I was surprised. Persistent approached him. He said maybe they were following me on LinkedIn or somewhere they saw me. If you see, Deepak has slightly, from negative to positive. His post was started reflecting that, and that's all I told him. Just be visible, but don't be desperate. You keep asking for it, no one will come. And then, I mean, people should see some value in you. People should not see you as needy. It may take time, but then it clicks.
And again with the green bar also, the green band.
Ah, that is a fashion. My
What's green
marketing
band?
team is delaying things.
The green band open to network.
Oh, acha, okay,
My
okay.
my marketing team is delaying it. I've asked them to create a band for Skill Hub also, which we are going to use on Facebook and LinkedIn. I should not be asking for job. That Facebook is simpler, LinkedIn is difficult, so they're taking time to create it. But yes, it was a good session, Chaitanya.
I'm
Thank you so much, sir.
And then
Thank you.
yeah, Sangeeta.
I'm also rejecting the links, which is coming with that green band. Open to work, open to network. Even I'm not.
It's normal. It's normal. See, it has become a practice. Whether you are an employer or you are a prospective candidate, you want to read more about the organization or the candidate. First thing, profile, you see a desperation, open to work. You go more into it. First is, every profile will confuse you because each profile is a champion's profile. They know everything. They may be jobless for last 3 years, 4 years, but they are champions. And then next is you go and see their post, and repeatedly you see that same post begging for a job. I have been jobless for 6 months. I have poor parents, and I have this. What nonsense is this? You as an employer will not even try to reach out to them because you're looking for an employee for your business. You're not looking to do a charity here. So how you showcase yourself depends. 2 3 requests I get every day. Seasoned consultants with 30 to 40 years of management consulting and this want to reach out to me, and sir, I ask them, sir, what is the purpose? No, no, give me some time and we will see. And sir, then I feel like they will be so disappointed when knowing what I do and at what level do I do. But there is people are following you, people are looking at you, and what you do will create a mileage, and that's where we have started posting the profiles. Sushmita was angry on the image that I posted, but yes, all these things will add some value to your brand. I purposely posted it there so at least few people saw it. And what happened is immediately someone wrote to me also, I've lost my job, some mechanical engineer, something, something, how to apply. So people reach out and people seeing you also, no? So which is the next, who is the next presenter?
I don't know.
I don't want Chaitanya and Sushmita, swapping among themselves.
I am not. I am not actually, because. So can we just stop the recording for a moment?
Oh yes, we should have stopped it long back.